What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday to everybody. Hopefully we got everything rolling here. I'm a little behind, but nothing new. So check in where everyone's watching from. Today I've got on the bench my Fazer Camaro. This is one that I've actually have been working on for a really long time, just off and on. But this is the 69 Camaro, and I had taken and bought that SuperScale2020 set, which, if you guys aren't familiar with, it's a little Arduino style board that's got a gyro built into it, and it kind of exaggerates the movement of a vehicle based on the settings and programming. When I first got it, I actually got a bad unit, and he was super apologetic, helped me figure it out. This thing is so dusty. But he helped me get it figured out, but after that I never really just finished getting it set up. So today I thought I'd break it back out and fiddle about with it. So now again, he had it set up with like some generic mounts for this project. Bad audio. Let me double check my audio. Oh, maybe it's just because I had moved my microphone and it was pointing at the ceiling. Is that better? I was building my 3D printer last night right here, and I needed some headroom, and my microphone is right here out of view. I checked that my audio was working. It just was pointing at the ceiling. So, anyway, that's a good start. So, this is the Kyosho Fazer 69 Camaro body. It's a beautiful body, good details, just overall an awesome quality body. Underneath, the Fazer chassis is pretty standard. I had to design and print up my own servo mounts for this setup. So you can see I've got two servos in the rear here. Those connect with tie rods to the A-arms. There is no suspension any longer. It's all servo. So this wouldn't be something you would use for like straight up performance. This is for style and looks alone. Now, I've got a rat's nest of wire in here because this thing needs tuning and tweaking before it's ready to go, and I obviously had those issues. So this morning I downloaded the new firmware and uploaded it, but other than that, I have not done anything to this. He's constantly updating firmwares, so that's a little bit of it. So I previously put the control unit in here, which is just this little thing. It has a cover, which I just don't have on there right now. I don't know why. Because when I had swapped out a component on the board, that was the previous issue. I just never put that back on. But we'll get to that. Is this live? Yeah, it's live. That's what we do here. So, anyway, that's the, is Mike J running the audio today? Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for checking in. Yep, that was, microphone pointed at the ceiling is my newest audio issue that I'll have to put on my checklist. What was done to this car, other than just the adding this SuperScale2020 thing? That's it. So I created the servo mounts, mounted 4 servos in place, servo horns, created my tie rods and all that, updated the firmware, and now we'll see if, well, for one, we'll see if it magically catches fire or something. Nope, didn't catch fire. Good, it's a good start. Stop. Why are you doing this? Oh, I found the lever. Don't know where that came from, but one of these is ride height. I thought it was that one. So it's it's mad at me for something. So anyway, it's supposed to like react to movement, and it's not doing that yet. So we have things to figure out. It's twerking. Yeah. 16 switches. We'll get there. Yes. Honestly, I don't it's not reacting properly yet. So there's that. We may have to there's like a diagnostic thing you can plug it into and see how it's reacting on the computer, which is something we may have to do. I'm definitely thinking my servos aren't necessarily in the correct spot. There we go. It's like it was, my servo had cammed over. Okay, that was a good start to the live stream. You know, I'm wondering if that's just how this one's going to go. I knew that firmware upgrade was in the wrong language. But it's not on fire, so you got that going for you. You know what? Let's just try it one more time and see if something funny happens. Okay. It's up in the air, but this one is supposed to be the ride height, or offset as they call it, but it's not doing anything. Okay, we're gonna just try and put them all in the middle and start from there. There's this is bullshit. Okay, what is that one doing? That one is the R. What is R? Let me pull up the instructions again. Holy shit. This is going to be a disaster. Okay. R is supposed to be range. It says added this setting to make sure people can limit the throw of the servo so they don't exceed the suspension limitations and break something or kill the servo. Okay. Well, it sounds like as soon as I start turning up the up the range, then stuff gets wild. Dancing cars, the sequel to flying cars. Okay. Oh boy, this one's going to be fun. Did I miss the element Ecto talk? No, we actually hadn't talked about that at all. So it's a gatekeeper basically with a body instead of a chassis. And the body, I don't know if it's the yellow color or what. I don't know that. It looks like a Power Wagon and a J Concepts Creep had a one night stand. So yeah, it's a tough one. Like, this is like Clark Griswold putting a quarter in the bed. Thanks, Moose Jaw. Very much appreciated. I've never seen a Camaro do that. SuperScale? Yeah, it is. It's not right. It's doing something. It's just not right. So you should have installed the system in the Flex Seal or Total Mayhem. I'm not 100% sure what we've got going on here. It's I have to turn the range all the way down before it stops doing. It's like give. Okay. I'm guessing that I still need to swap some servo orientations maybe. It feels like it thinks it's going the opposite way. I think that has to be something that's going You fed it after midnight. It's like driving through numerous potholes in the Midwest. Yeah. So, oh man, this thing is going to be a. I feel like I've got this is one of those head scratchers that this was a really poor idea for a Sunday stream. Sounds like I'm just going to be answering a lot more questions than I am actually getting any work done on this because we've got it's just not doing anything. So scalar. Does the transceiver need to be on? No, because it's actually like not even really part of it. There's like it's a separate unit entirely. It's not even tied into the steering. So we will see. We'll get there with this one. Red Cat 64 clone. Yes, for a third of the cost, right? I'll be watching someone play with audio controls while you were getting the mic feedback the entire time. Mounted the gyro wrong, maybe. So I don't think that it's the gyro mounted wrong, but it's I think that I've got some servo reversing that possibly needs to be done, and that might be as easy as switching red and black wires, because that's a thing. Is that front wheel drive? No, it's rear wheel. This is the rear. There is it. It's four wheel drive, is if that's what you meant. Sorry, it's not rear wheel drive. I seriously thought Element was going to bring out something different. That's literally another Element. Well, I think no matter what Element released, it was going to be another Element. But yeah, no, they do have that platform, and they're obviously going. But it definitely wasn't a huge departure from anything they had done previously. Where might one? I think at this point the Element stuff has only been posted on social media, Instagram, Facebook stuff. I don't think they've made an official announcement yet. So they released information on it down, or they showed the truck at an event that they were throwing down in SoCal. Oh, thought only two. Oh no, I think I'll force one up. But you ready for? So yeah, the I don't know. I think that it's okay. It's there'll be some people who like that style better than a gatekeeper. It looks like it has I think a new front bumper. Maybe I don't know if it's got a rear bumper, but I think the new front bumper might be like the only new part other than the body. I guess we'll see final details, but it's something like that. It looks like a creep, but worse. I think it looks like a Power Wagon front with a creep rest of it. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of Johnny come lately. The Power Wagon has been done to death. Yeah, it's definitely a popular body choice. Most, including me, were hoping for a gatekeeper with IFS and something pre-runnerish. Ooh, I don't think most, because honestly, the IFS is not great. Holy crap! While walking, I looked down, found my 10 millimeter. Lucky day. Go buy a lottery ticket. It has a faux winch. Okay, well, there's that. It's true. It's the Creep Wagon. Ooh, that's a good name. On that 69 Camaro, did you custom design those brackets to hold the servos? Yes. Or is it something I can print out? I mean, you could print it out too. It's not like I need the. I don't have a use for them. I'll share the files. I don't care. It's not something I'm trying to sell or anything like that. So yeah, no. If you wanted to try and accomplish the same thing, then I'd happily share the files. So, and thank you for the $2, Dale. Much appreciated. So Element went to Tamaya School of Vehicle Design. Now, in all fairness, most companies seem to just kind of, it's common fare to rebody a platform over and over, for a decent amount of time. And I think they've only been around like 2 years. So the platform couldn't have been expected to change that much. But, wrong time to drop it, especially with the Traxxas Bronco dropping at the same time. The Traxxas Bronco, that was my plan today, to go shoot some video of that later. we shall see. I hope to still do that, but I need to shoot some bench video of that as well. This thing is a bit of a disaster, and I feel like I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I feel like I should at least keep it here because to remind myself of my poor decision making. But let's grab that Traxxas Bronco as well. So let's see. There you go. Yeah, I mean, this thing was definitely done well as far as what it is. You know, it's still, again, it's a TRX, it's just a TRX4 underneath as well. The body though was done really well. Like the quality of Traxxas' design work is obviously something to be held. Um, and it just comes out so much better. But I do love their new body system. There we go. James Bush, thank you, sir. Is there an adjustment for sensitivity? Maybe as soon as you give it a range, it goes a feedback loop. I think that's the thing, is that yes, there is an adjustment for sensitivity, and once I give it a range. But I think that the thing is that things are backwards. So it tries to make an adjustment, things get worse, so it goes back the other way. I think that's why it's oscillating back and forth. So I think that's yes, it is in a feedback loop, but it's exaggerated because it's doing the exact opposite of what it wants to be doing. So the red looks a lot nicer. I actually like the cyber orange color, and I wish that I had that. Have you heard of Camtech banger cars? RCP, are you messing with me? Because that's what that is right there. Camtech banger. So I do hope to get out and drive this thing, shoot some bench video of it at first, and then go do some running footage. So because it's a good looking car for what it is. I mean, it's got a big bumper on it, but it's very scale, obviously. But man, if you're a fan of the new Bronco, then there is nothing that's going to do a better job of replicating it. So it just is. Brian Sherwood, did you boot me from Facebook? ASD just announced an event. Are you going? Oh, no, Brian, I did not boot you from Facebook. I sent an email to Zuckerberg though to discuss that possibility. And Freddie Hammond, ASD just announced an event. Are you going? I saw that Brandon Tomey went live, but I haven't watched it or heard it, the details about it. I usually try and go to those, support those guys however I can because they're the ASD guys are great people. So that's, I will definitely try and get all of the information and then make sure that I can go if it doesn't overlap with one of the 5 weddings I have to go to this year. So, yeah, I just wonder if all of my servos are backwards or just. Grr. And I swear that this new firmware update was supposed to let me like flip stuff. There is a crawler firmware as well. Yeah. So rather it was a two-door. I know what you mean, but I think that it would have, to try and make it the right scale, the two-door body would have been huge, or just out of proportion. I think that they did it pretty well. Plus, just like Jeeps, 4 doors, they're better than the 2 doors. So we do have a crawler firmware. This is the drift firmware, but I wonder if I should try the crawler one. Let's why not, right? So firmware, let's go to crawler 125. Ooh, okay. There we go. How dare. Left your own Bronco body with a Jeep shirt. Do I have a Jeep shirt on? This is King of the Hammer shirt. Does it? It's not a Jeep shirt, is it? Specifically? Yeah. Oh, the wheels on this one I do not like. The super glossy black like that. Weddings. Have you not told your friends how many RC crawlers? Yeah. So many weddings. We have 2 relatives, one of my best friends, and then I don't even remember the other. Oh, another one that I'm officiating next weekend, and then one of Nicole's friends. So there you go. I'm asleep. Hey, what do you know? Good eye. So the Camaro has reactive suspension. It has overly reactive suspension currently, Mike. Things are a little off. But let's I'm going to download this other firmware and we're going to throw it onto this car. Let's see. Front left. Oh, he does. Okay, perfect. I'm going to do all reversed. Yes, let's try the all reversed firmware. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's just see because I thought we could do it with firmware. Save. Okay, perfect. Joe Mendoza, thank you, sir. Is the Bronco top heavy like the Defender tank? It's definitely going to be top heavy, not like the Defender. The Defender, not as bad. That Defender, that body was pretty rowdy. But it's definitely going to be top heavy. I think that's a for sure thing. The TRX4s in general are a little bit top heavy. You know, the battery sits a little high in stock form. It's got the portals. It's everything like that. So I think that there's definite things about them, but I think that some people are just okay with that. All reversed. Com3 upload. Hold on. Uploading new firmware currently. Uploading. Done. Okay. Let's see if that worked. What is the live schedule for next week? Brian, that's a great point. Wednesday live, and other than that, I'm going to be gone for Friday and Sunday stream. Kind of a bummer. Oh. Stop. That got worse. Oh. Okay, I think that the front and rear. I think my rear is reversed, but not the front. Let's try that. Okay. Okay. I think we could make progress on this, right? Did you get the Prusa all the way together? Yep, I got it together last night. Did a test print overnight. Went great, and it's all done. So I'm gonna try and find some things to print. I had to take a breath. Yeah, I was like, oh, and then it went off. Okay, I'm open. Let's see. Right, left, right, rear, right, left, rear, right. Let's try that one. Download. Okay. need to open the bootloader. Okay. Try this again. Upload. Who wants to guess if this works? 5 will get you 10 that there's not a chance. Reminds me of a dog my grandma had would hump the air. Oh yeah, I've been around those. Okay. Uploaded. Take 3. It's definitely not reacting. This is less than ideal. I think it's just being a dick at this point. Ooh. Can Josh confirm or deny that Vanquish is making rift axles? We are working on rift stuff, including axles. And so, please put the body on while it dances. Then I can't get to any of the switches. Oh, that. Okay. Calm yourself. So, what I think we need to do, stop it, is I need to pull these servo arms off and reset to a more neutral point. What do we think about that? So I'm going to set this to midpoint. And then we're going to unplug. Does that work? No. Hold on. Okay. God, what is wrong with that? There we go. It's got a mind of its own. Flex seal. Oh, yes. Frames are dropping, but hopefully they come back soon. Stop it. Okay. I think our frame should be coming back. Whose car is this? This is my car. I've had it forever. Okay. I think about there will work. Okay. Oh, it's kind of a pain with the clamping servo horns. All right. 400, slightly flex sealed. Yeah. These servos are so tight. Okay, we're going to check just the front servos just to see how what that did. It looks like it's riding better. What's going on with the trophy rat? The trophy? Oh, my old my trophy rat has turned into that car there. It's working. See, it'll even lift the tire completely off the ground now. That's youthful. All right, midpoint. Now we just have to reset other servos. I don't know why that one's... Okay. I think I have to leave them plugged in, right? Progress, if nothing else. Do you have to set endpoints? I don't really have... So that's kind of what that whole range thing is on these. There's not like an end... Since it's not tied into my radio, I don't really have the ability to just like set endpoints like normal. It's very odd. Is this that system that costs more than an Ultra? No, this is like $80. It is... I mean, so it's not that expensive, but then you also have to buy 4 servos. So you got to factor that in. But these are cheap, just basic servos in here. They're Eco Power 110Ts. Oh, okay. Stay. Car for sale, SuperScale installed and working. Just needs minor calibration. Must sell today. Okay. That one I'm going to have to unplug because I can't get to the clamping hardware. We're going to have to loosen it and plug it back in. Did this need 4 Vanquish servo horns? No. But I didn't want to run the plastic ones. Okay. This could be a disastrous experiment. Continued, because this whole thing has been quite the experiment for like over a year. There we go. Come. Why does it go to that position now? Okay. It's like it takes a minute to set. So like when I plug this in the first time, it's always just going to lift all the tires off the ground. Like, oh, it's scared. I swear I set all these servos up the first time, but obviously I'm incorrect. Or I set them up incorrect somehow. We're getting there. After I get this servo in place, there we go. There we go. The suspension mounts can be a little tight. It seems like it's working now. Let's not jinx it yet, Phoenix. Okay. It's definitely not reacting yet, but you need to turn it around because that's how my... So this should be ride height. I approve. Was this working correctly before and started? No. This is never. When I first bought this kit, like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, whatever, I put it in there. It's probably 18 months ago. It's probably in 2020 because it's called SuperScale 2020. I bought it, put it in there, but it had a bad MPU, which is like the gyro kind of setup. Anyway, I had to replace that component on the board. He was very apologetic, and he offered to just send me a new one. But this guy's out of Russia, and I was just like, I can buy the unit for like $6 here in the U.S. and I'll solder it myself. And he walked me through it. He was great to deal with. Spoke very good English for being from Russia. Okay. So we have that part of it set. I feel like we're getting closer. Now, the other settings. So this thing has 1, 2, 3, 6 settings across the top that have all different functions. I need to go to the not drift firmware now. I installed the crawler firmware. The manual for the crawler firmware. That's what I need. So get it installed. It talks about servos. And let's see. Does it say, do I actually have to rotate this unit now? Oh, I may have to. Before I was supposed to. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. I'm sure I can find that in there. Hey Josh, is the body gonna fit with the servos out front like that? Yeah. So I designed them with that in mind. So it actually fits perfectly like that. I designed it with everything in place. So there's actually a little bit of room still. I forget how mad it gets when you start moving it. So let's adjust some settings and see if we can get this thing to move all realistic like. It looked like they were way out front. I know it does, but actually there's a lot of room in the front of that body, surprisingly. Okay. Short story. M, S, and D control the following. M, how much suspension reacts to bumps. Okay. So that's this one. I want it to react a lot. Maybe that's the opposite of a lot. Let's go back to the middle with that one. That seemed a little excessive. S, the speed of the suspension. So that's this one. Oh, that gets all twitchy. I don't like that. Let's keep that down. And D, dampening. How quickly the bounce after disturbance decays. So it still doesn't have like the body roll thing, which is what it's supposed to have. So, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, oh, this is to help level the chassis out, which makes sense. I think it's like a bias. There we go. That makes sense. Active suspension cruiser. Yes, that is. S is proportional and D is integral. Got any news on the Element truck? Yeah, they posted it on on Instagram, or from the event. It's basically just a gatekeeper with a body that looks kind of like a creep in a power wagon had a one night stand. So the wheels keep lifting off the ground. Yeah, I see that, especially this one. Which is not ideal. I totally agree. It doesn't have the whole body roll thing. I gotta figure this. I think that was the weight. There was one that was supposed to be like the effect of how much mass it was trying to. Um, let's pick the PC. Okay. Well, at least we have the basic of the setups in there. Now I just have to figure out how to get the rest of it to react properly. And that three-wheel drifting. That one is the only one that keeps lifting the tire like off the ground. Just you get 3D print. Yep, 3D printers together, sitting next to me here. Looking forward to getting some things put on it. But Matt's truck with the accident was really sweet. Good video. Yeah, and I got to just double check to figure out what I've got going on with this one. I know this is one of those things that takes a little bit of tuning, but like watching a praying man's camouflage. Yeah, slow, deliberate motions. This one, yeah, something along those lines, but it needs some work. Needs some tuning. After that, it'll get there. The purpose of it, at least, is it's definitely further along than it was the last time I tried it, and it just didn't do anything, and I got super frustrated. So these are cool little setups, though. The Kyosho phasers, just a super basic platform, but with great looking bodies. I've got two of them, and just pretty good. Horn on driver's front. Yeah, I don't know. Like the front two seem pretty level, but it seems to be picking up more. Both servo horns are the same. All four servos are the same. It's a weird one. Where's Matt when you need him? Agreed. Hey, why don't you build on gas RCs? Not, I don't really. Electric is more powerful and cleaner and better. I've done some gas stuff, and I actually have I bought one of those Toyan 4-stroke gas engine kits. So it comes completely unassembled, and you have to assemble the engine. So there you go. And plus, gas cars inside. Trying to work on them. They're nasty. But that's really it. And honestly, for like our type of stuff, crawling, scale stuff, gas cars are they don't work. They'll never be able to perform as well as an electric. So unfortunately for our market, that's just kind of the way it is. Maybe the body roll is only from the drift setting, not the. No, I think Matt's did it too. And you could push it and you could kind of see it rock back and forth. So it should definitely do it. I just have to figure out what's up, what's wrong. So the it'll take some little stuff and then it'll be done. It's one of those projects that's just been sitting down there on that bottom shelf for ever. Every once in a while, I grab it, dust it off, and then like, yeah, okay, I'll get back to it. So, you showed Matt how to weather his Toyota engine. Maybe he can help you with this. Did I show him how to weather? I don't remember. That doesn't sound like something I'd do. Thoughts on the Element Ecto? We talked about it a little bit. I mean, it's the gatekeeper underneath, basically, with just a different body on it. So, it does have some of the issues from the normal Element kit that the gatekeeper fixed. It achieves, which is good. The body, I get the direction. I kind of like the direction. I just don't know that body is. Maybe it's the color or the back half of it. Like, it looks very J Concepts. How many people do you think are going are going the TRX Bronco to put the body on an IFS truck? I think very few. I think maybe some people will, but for the most part, most won't. And honestly, there's not really like a good IFS truck to use. The the Element IFS is really the only one, and the Element IFS is just not great. It has no, the turning is bad. The clearance is terrible. It's just not great. Did you see the $1,200 brushless conversion for the Raminator? I actually did, because I was browsing their website just to think about it. Is it an SS, a Z28 RS? This is the Z28. Pretty sure. Yes, Z28. 1969 Z28 body. So, and yeah, the Traxxas bodies are heavy. That is true. There's a lot of detail parts. There's like an interior cage on this one with the clipless body setup. So there's a lot to the to this body. But, it's how they get them to look so good. So, I mean, but again, it's going to drive like a TRX4. That's basically what it is. So, looked up the element. Yeah, you have to go if you haven't seen the Element Ecto. I can probably throw up a photo real quick. Let's see. We'll go to Schultz's Instagram. John Schultz RC. Oh, he doesn't have a very good photo of it. I need to switch profiles, switch accounts. No, I don't have it. Oh well. Yellow doesn't hit a clear body. I mean, I imagine that they'll sell a clear body version, but I can't. Let's see. I'm sure it should pop up on my feed fairly quickly. But Schultz was only posting like nondescript photos. Let's see. I'll just search for it. Element Ecto tags 10 posts. So these are some actually, this is from Got Rocks. We'll see the photos. I'll put this one up so you guys can see it. I guess I can't airdrop it to myself right now, but I'll just hold it up. This is actually a good photo. So you can kind of see that it's just very power wagon front, but the rear 3/4 photos are what don't look as good. So, there's some pluses and minuses. But if you go on Instagram, you should be able to find it. Creep-ish for sure. So, but again, the Gatekeeper solved some issues that the original Element and a lot of the other Element kits still have. It's got the aluminum panhard mount, which is nice. It gets rid of the plastic crappy one that was attached to the normal shock towers. So that's decent. I'd run the Ecto with a weathered body. I think a better paint job or it definitely, the yellow, the box art color just is not good. It does not look right. But that's always the struggle with trying to do any of that, is you got to, choosing that and seeing what's going to look right. So hopefully, they get into people's hands and they get cleaned up a little bit. So, uh, small gears, and yeah, still the same. Really, their gear set. That's another like, kind of big downfall of the Element trucks is the ring and pinion in those axles are pretty weak. It's real easy to skip the pinion on the ring gear. So, it, you know, it's hard to just nail something down specific, but they haven't really jumped into updating any of those things. You know, it's got tiny pinion bearings, it's got the tiny pinion gear, but a lot of the other things about the truck are solid. It's got decent geometry. The battery setup, I wonder I wonder if they went with the full size battery tray in this Ecto. I bet they did, because that was one downside of the Gatekeeper. But I bet with this one they probably went to the full size battery tray, leaving it open for people, or at least include both of them like the Gatekeeper, so you could run it without any big modifications. Now, I didn't notice, I guess I didn't look, the photos. I imagine it's still just a standard, yeah, so it's standard body clip setup. It does have black plastic for the axles and everything, but I imagine that it's their kind of updated black plastics, so they're stiffer than the old ones used to be, but not as stiff as the gray. And then I believe that they updated the gray again as well. It does have a nice narrow front bumper on it, which is a bonus. Same general grabber tires that they ran on the Sendero. Everything else looks no interior still. They still have not got into supplying anything for interiors. The Element trucks are capable out of the box, which is nice. But they definitely don't necessarily stack up as far as like feature stuff goes. So, other than Brazen Scale, do you have any recommendations on flat rail chassis? I mean, nothing at this point specifically, but I did buy myself a couple of Honcho RTRs for, if anybody remembered, I've talked about it a couple of times on the lives. So I bought some Honcho RTRs, SCX102, and I'm basically going to pick up some flat rail chassis, and I'm going to pick up basically any of the supporting stuff that a company may have for it, and we'll see just how difficult it is to take whatever this company may offer for their truck and go to an RTR. So that's the plan, at least, is because with a lot of the flat rail chassis, we're lagging a little bit, so we'll let that catch up for a second before we get too deep into that conversation. Dropping a lot of frames. Always. Hold, please. Put some of that away. So anyway, sorry about that, dropping some frames, but recapping what I was saying about the flat rail stuff. So yeah, I bought, right now I've got two new in box SCX102 Honcho RTRs. I'm going to choose two flat rail companies that make flat rail setups, probably class 2-ish focused, and I'll go to whatever website they have and see what chassis they have, and then try and find the things that they offer for it as well, to try and make a truck as easy as possible. Because a lot of the problems is that you try and buy one of these chassis setups and you get 2 sticks in a bag and figure it out. So, whether that be custom links and whatnot, like a lot of people are just going to be like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? So that's going to be the premise of it. So hope to get to that here in the near future. I'll start gathering parts for that so that I can jump into that. Can we see Friday's build? Last Friday's build, the little mini thing? Where'd it go? It's actually still behind me. dangling down? Oh, the power switch. This was the Friday's build. The miniature knockoff VS410. But it wasn't a bad build. You know, it's like a $130 kit. I don't know if I could choose this over an SCX10 or SCX24 or not. But it's nice in a lot of ways. I think that the worm gears in the SCX24 are just a better choice, though. So that's the, I think that's just the reality of that. I did not do a super hot job on the decals, mainly because I was in a hurry. So, IRC sells the merge kit. You just swap everything over from an SCX10.2 or element. Nothing is needed. So yeah, there's, you know, there's going to be things like that. That's a realistic, you know, an actual, a decent product when something's like that. And then it's just a matter of, are the benefits of other kits over this kit, you know, like what's going to make it worth it or not worth it. So that would be the, I'm not really looking to do like crazy performance shootout stuff. That's not, there's too many variables when you're trying to do side-by-side stuff. It's all just seat of the pants, you know, type thing. So I'm just going to go by what I feel, what I like, and things like that. So about the Bang Gang frames, put them in a vise and give them a slight hit. They bust like glass. Oof. Yeah. I've seen some of those ones from Banggood. That's, so did someone buy it yet? I need to get back to my Instagram messages. I had a couple of people who had said that they were, they'd take it, and I just need to figure out the one guy who was first. I need to go back and see if he responded again. Otherwise, I'll move to the next person. So I was selling this, so you can message me on Instagram if one of the other two people doesn't buy it. It is for sale. I think I was selling for $75. It's like $140 new or something like that. $130 new, whatever. So, like I said, I didn't do a fantastic job with decals. The paint, surprisingly, not my worst paint job ever for doing it live. Just walking out the front door. Just found the dumbest thing ever. Apparently Chevy doesn't think Colorados don't need a cabin filter. Oh, what do you know? When a mouse made home, entire air box. had to replace an entire air box so the entire dash gets removed. Oh, that sucks. Removing dashes from vehicles is one of the worst things ever. Can we see a side-by-side with an SCX24? So, obviously, body much bigger. However, the width overall is very similar. Like they're very, very similar as far as width goes. Tire height is slightly taller, so you get a little bit more height out of these. Wheel size looks to be the same, but yeah, it's just mainly the body. So the Sherpa rails look dope and want to build with AR60 Sherpa. Oh, that's the TGH one, right? TGH Sherpa. So, hey, from the UK. Hope all's well. Thanks for joining. I'm interested in it for some reason. I have a full-size trail truck lined up, but I'm gonna buy. Oh, yes, it's another Ford Ranger. Almost the same, other than body. Yeah, the wheelbase is longer. It's got a significant wheelbase advantage. But ring and pinion axles versus worm gear. And in the SCX24, or in this size, to get the feel out of the motors, seems like the worm gears do have a benefit. Will incision drive shafts for the 10.2 fit the builder's kit? The SCX10.2 builder's kit, yes. put those axles on a Betty, it would be a Rancha. I don't know if think that the axles are basically the same as far as width goes. Yeah, they're basically identical as far as that. Now, the transmission probably has a lot less reduction in the SX24, so you'd put them on here and you'd probably go way faster. I think doing a body swap to an SCX24 would make that a better crawler with the longer wheelbase. Possibly. Putting 24 drivetrain into this would probably make this a much better crawler. And then you would, so that might be it. The SX24 looks 10 times more capable. In a lot of ways, I think you're right. I don't know if in all ways that's correct or not. I mean, with a longer wheelbase, you're going to have more capability. I will say that the bumper on this one is a little wide for the body. It hangs out there a little bit. So I think that with a proper bumper or some bumper cutting, you'd be in much better shape. Was the Element Ecto discussed? Bart, it was a little bit. Did you get your package with your trays and everything? Hopefully that all made it. But yeah, we did discuss the Element for a little bit, which, I mean, obviously I think that's going to be a topic for a little bit. I'm kind of, I really want to see it with some different paint job. It needs some love somewhere to just make it a little bit more appealing, I think. Have you crawled with it any? Are you talking about this? No, I built it Friday. Yesterday, I built a 3D printer all day and went to a twin 1-year-old's birthday party. So where did you find those body clips at? These body clips came from my other Hobby Plus. Where did it go? There it is. I have 2 of them. This one was not a kit. This one was the RTR. But it's kind of where I was thinking along the same lines as the drivetrain swap deal. Get the longer wheelbase. This body kind of looks pretty good. Especially Power Wagon. Start trimming it up like the rest of them. You could be in good shape. The only thing I don't like about this one is that the rear bed is wider than the rest of the cab. So it's like the opposite of the 1/10 scale ones. So it makes it real hard to try and use the cab or bedside stuff. So we'll see. We shall see. I have a lot of SCX24 stuff to do here shortly. How many cars can I have on the bench today? Let's see your micro collection. And then there's one in a box right there, SCX24. Then I had the C10 pickup, but I gave that to my buddy Brandon's son since I had 2 Bettys at the time, or currently, I guess. Flex Seal is the new black. Ah! Let's put this away. Betty up there. Throw these on the ground. The Flex Seal truck, though, I think it needs to get. Oh, you know what I did want to do is I did pick up the no Orlando. No, I gave the Orlando away. That one I was so happy to have given away. Where did it go? Went to Florida? Somebody in Florida? Whatever. Have fun. I think there was some sort of Florida man style comment that ended up winning that. Man, I never really got this wiring cleaned up. I should do that. I mean, I resoldered at least so that it wasn't such a freaking fire hazard. But I do need to get the, I do need to throw some zip ties on some stuff at least, huh? So let's do that. Where are the little zip ties? So, I don't know. I know you don't do pre-release specifics of VP on here ahead of time. Is there anything you can share yet, or still too soon regarding Rift? I mean, we've said that we are going to do Rift parts. That's about, and I think we said including axles. But yeah, we don't really give out info on anything beyond that. Like, I'm not going to give times or prices or anything like that. Or information on style. So I just hope that this thing, I hope that like the actual servo that's in this survives for at least one outing before everything else ends up taking a crap. I'm not gonna put inner fenders in this either. Like, I know it didn't have them, but it also didn't have a spur gear cover. But at this point, I just don't think we can even be surprised at anything, right? Throw some double-sided tape on here and get the rest of the wires bundled up, and this thing will be golden. You know, until the outboard motors get here. I just went to your site and may want to update the events page. Yeah, that was funny because I was like, I'm going to do an events page. And then that was at the beginning of, or the end of 19, beginning of 20. And then every event ever, which is like, wah, wah, wah. Like, all right, maybe I just go ahead and delete that section for the near future. Seems like they should delete themselves after the date anyway. Why am I up? Damn it. That's why I didn't really do anything with this, is because it had Spectrum receiver in it. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to use that. But for some reason, I just did. Get a Furatech ESC for that thing. I actually have 2 of those. But I'm probably not going to put that in the in that Hobby Plus thing. I've got one that I'll probably put in one of my SCX 24s, but ugh. It's like whatever's on the wires, just whoa. Josh sent you a picture on Instagram. I want to drive it while you're up here. All you need is a military grade air mask. Oh my god. Yeah, we will be in Seattle for a bit, but looking at the schedule of events, I don't know that I'm going to be leaving very much from our place. Have you ever done a little crawling in your 1-to-1 Jeep? There are some cool places to do that close to you, right? Not in my Gladiator. In my JK, it's done little things, you know, is over the span of the 11 or 12 years I've owned it. But it's always been just a solid vehicle. Yeah, 12 years I've owned that now. Dang. It's been a solid truck, though. Got a lot of places. If your ESC's any good, I've seen guys talk about them Wasn't sure. I've never ran them before. I got them to run. They're supposed to have an FOC type control to them, which it's not going to be actual FOC since it's a non-censored brushed system, but I guess it can run brushless, but still, I think it's still censorless. I don't know. Either way. But yeah, people talk well about them, so we're going to give it a try. I figured why not? Everyone else seems to like them in the small scale, so I'll pick one up or two up, I guess, and see what it does. I have Fury Trex, both my mini crawlers. They are awesome. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. So looking forward to giving it a shot and seeing how it feels. Driving down a dirt road is not off-roading. Oh, I agree. I also competed in like full-size rock crawling, remember? I know what off-roading is. I just don't do it in my vehicles that I plan to drive every day. But yes. Remember, I did We Rock. Hi. Is it 3S or 2S? The Furitech stuff, the 1/24th scale? I don't know that. With a micro outrunner motor, it's the Biz. That's interesting. In a little 1/24th, that sounds kind of cool. Might be worth a shot. I'll have to look for one of those motors. You're just using like mini quad, like the micro quad stuff for those motors? And let's see. Okay. Let's throw. I imagine that some of this stuff is going to have to come out again anyway, since, well, especially since at some point I'm going to have to plan on thoroughly waterproofing this, since I plan to try and make it float. That's going to be a terrible idea. But there's no better VS410 to try it. There we go. Oh, still have that stupid switch. This switch is so nasty, and the wiring repair on it is so hacked. God. That is stuff that I just can't stand. Josh, think the smell will go away after the petrified family and their nest is thrown in the garbage? You know, if it's already petrified, I don't think that the smell was coming from them any longer. But you know, some of that stuff just tends to hang in those porous surfaces. Double-sided tape is always such a pain in the ass. I don't know why it's not wanting to stick to this shitty surface. Nope, not at all. All right, we'll figure it out. I'll just super glue it in just like he did. Josh, WD-40 will wipe all the sticky wire gunk off. That's nope, I don't have WD-40 in here. I've got isopropyl. I think I have WD-40 in the garage. That works pretty well. The bottom surface with Flex Seal residue. It could be just Flex Seal overspray. Like he used Flex Seal as insulator for his wiring. It's like that residue from shitty duct tape that's been on something for too long, like Harbor Freight duct tape or duct tape. I mean electrical tape. The stuff that's like not actually an insulator. It's just black vinyl tape. It's an insulator if you use enough of it, but other than that, not actual electrical tape. That's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't fix the boogered up wiring, but I wonder if I can actually desolder this little thing. Is the VFD designed for the incision drive shafts? I threw my capper axles under my VS410 the other day and I had to shave the plastic cup that retains the drive pin to clear it. Are you sure you had the... So, axial drive shafts, on the capper it might not have been the same way, but on normal axial, like SCX10 style, there is a different cap on the axle end versus the transmission end. The transmission end has a different design to it that doesn't interfere with the housing. So I'm not sure if the capper might not have used that because it was a different transmission design. But other than that, it was standard to the previous style of designs, which works fine with things like regular axial wild bores from an SCX10-2. So that's why. Any scale IFS besides TA? Who's team associated? Is that what you're talking about? Like Element? Similar to what HVAC companies use for home duct. Oh, gotcha. You're talking about the cleaning stuff. Man, there's not really any good IFS setups for scale trucks. They're not ones that I would really want to use. You know, like that. That's always the issue, is that trying to get a good IFS setup in one of these trucks that isn't just a complete bummer on performance. And I think the team associated one kind of fits into that bummer area. I want someone to make scale beams so bad. That's another one that I know what you mean, but it's to get any like actual real performance out of them, quite tough with the scale solid rear axle. But they sure look cool. I think the closest was the Twin Hammers, but it's discontinued. Yeah, I think the Twin Hammers was definitely the best IFS setup that kind of fit within roughly the scale size we were looking for. Since I was late, were there any Ripper 2 updates? It's still in the same status that it was before. Somewhere in the not gonna happen, not gonna talk about it range. I think that's where, I don't remember if that's where we were last time you talked about it. Yep, DIY people using black tape and not electrical tape. WD-40 is your friend. Remove that funk. Leaves cables all new and shiny and stick free. Oh, there you go. But yeah, the whole black tape, all black tape is electrical tape is always a catch you find people using. Granted, well, I mean, RC stuff, I would try not to use black electrical tape, but I'm not saying I haven't. I definitely have. Not going to talk about it. So you admit it. Let's see. That cleans. I think that was kind of the last thing that needed to be done to this. Now it's just like a VS410 that you almost can't tell is been completely butchered at one point. Yes. The shocks seem to be holding oil all right. So we refilled those at least. Hopefully that holds up. Your advice was awesome last Friday. Are you still very sure that the SCX102 axles are a very good upgrade for my gatekeeper? Honestly, it's if I was like building up my gatekeeper, uh, that's what I would do. I would switch to AR44 axles, even if you just went stock plastic ones. I think that the stock plastic ones are better than the stock element ones. Smaller pumpkin, better gear, better aftermarket, plastics, arguably better. So I think that would be the way to go. And then even if you just find somebody's stock takeoff stuff, you can just upgrade from there later. So, and I think that link geometry is all basically identical on those two cars. So it's pretty much just a drop off. This coming Wednesday for the live stream, I have a package that arrived. We're gonna have got it set in here for mail time stuff. It says must be opened on live stream Wednesday. Promise it's can't see what's in there yet, but came from Scott in Connecticut, so we're gonna see. Excited to see what it is. Did you helicoil the third members yet, John? That is what I was gonna do. Remember, God, I did not yet. I have them here, and I was going to pull this front end apart to do that. That's why I grabbed this truck, and then I started screwing with wiring for some reason. At this point, any new release within the next 5 years is going to get responsive. I knew they were working on it. Thanks for joining in, Waffords. Much appreciated. All right, so let's drop this whole front axle out so we can get to, so we can see the damage. Glitter bomb. Yeah, I hope not. I know who he is at least. So I didn't at first, but at some point I will probably have to stop opening mystery packages. If I didn't know who it was, I might have a harder time. All right, pull the drive shaft off. Let's drop steering link. That. There were some of these that definitely required just a little longer screw, a lot of Loctite, and some hope. Josh, still waiting on my carbon trays for the Pro. Yes. I hope that I can make that a finished product here before too long. Because I know people liked those. But I'm not going to make them myself. There's just no way. What was the maiden print on the Prusa? I just printed something that was on the SD card, which was like their calibration print, just because I just wanted to fire it up and it was late. I was literally, so it has to do like this calibration process for the bed leveling stuff, and it was like a 15-minute process or whatever, and I was basically in this chair just like falling asleep. So I started it after calibrating the bed height from the sensor and fired it up, walked out the door, closed, turned the lights off, and went to bed. At least this side is all bolts and lock nuts. Oops. No. I accidentally almost quit my streaming setup. I'm going to drop the top shock because it's easier to get to. Any new info on the Traxxas? I like that name. Traxxas Dragster. No, still nothing. But we're mid-May, and that's when they said it was going to be available. So that's I'm guessing that we got to be close to when that info is going to drop and that truck is going to be available. Okay. Oh, one last. Oh yeah, I also have a lock nut on the backside of the panhard, which isn't normal because somehow he stripped the panhard screw too. Oops. Which that was a new one. I've never seen the panhard mount get stripped before. Just one surprise after another. All right. Set that down. I do have to pull off the knuckles again, which I had to create custom bushings for. Heard pre-orders were near $700. Could get someone clowning on Insta. Pre-orders for what? For the Traxxas? I need clarification. Okay. Oh, now I got the inserts. I just got clear. Might as well just pull those inserts out. $700 for the drag truck. That seems awfully high for Traxxas. But that's interesting. I wonder what the reality of that will be. So what you're saying is that Flex Seal Dip Stringer is pretty rusty. That's all right. So we got all that out. Just joined. What are you working on? Well, we've worked on a bunch of stuff today. We worked on my Camaro with the suspension setup, which is still in need of some work. Now we're back on. I took the Flex Seal truck back out because I need to throw some helicoils in this third member. So, and it's just so crazy blown out. It's scary. The good news is that there's a lot of meat around that still. And the helicoil set. There's the drill, tap, helicoils. Let's see how this goes. I heard they were doing something crazy with the TSM. So they have talked about the TSM already, and that's basically... Is this dead? Ah, dang it. Did I think I forgot to put another battery on the charger. Damn it. What's the story behind the Ripper? They're fetching 9,000 these days and saying, yeah, it's just, they're not, we don't make them anymore, and people still want them, but there's only so many made. So yeah, they go for, you know, when we sold them, they were $18.99. And then now people just get crazy money for them. Just what they're worth. To, you know, they're only worth, I mean, they're only worth what people will pay, but people are paying that. So there you go. So I'm just going to do this by hand, but you really shouldn't do it with the gear and everything intact, but I didn't get into it. I didn't even actually break through, which is good. Where did you get those helicoils? Amazon, pretty sure. Doesn't take much. Do I have a tap handle in here? I don't think I do. That is unfortunate. I guess we're going to have to do it the sketchy way, which seems appropriate. I'm not going to use any rapid tap or anything. We're just going to, we'll put her in low gear at least. Go. We can go deeper. Let's see. You said that out loud. Yes, that's looking good. Didn't bottom out or anything. Okay, so now we're going to throw some Loctite on it, on a helicoil. Not saying that that's proper, but it's just what we're doing. Probably should have lubed that hole. Oh, I agree. That's what I said. We're going to do it without rapid tap or anything. So we are. That one, the little nub on it broke off, or didn't break off, but bent down too quickly. There we go. Cleaned out. All right. I got another. Don't worry. What do these? I didn't even put any pressure on these, and the little hook on the helicoils breaking off. Like before even getting it started and starting to put any pressure on it. Let's try the other insertion tool. See if it's any better. I have two brands of these helicoils. So see if one of these starts. No, I like the other one better. And before I even start that, I'm going to try one of these other ones since I had two of those. Retap the hole one more time. Okay. Just to make sure it's cleaned out. It's a good idea. There we go. So, oh, we have two very different sized ones here. That might be the... Oh, I think that was the difference, is that I had the, I grabbed the second size, which uses a bigger drill bit. These other one just dropped right in. Or not dropped in, I shouldn't say that. But it threaded right in perfectly. Oh, and I went the perfect depth so that it's just past flush. That's perfect. Oh, that looks great in there too. I'm super pleased with that. That's going to be fantastic. Now we do need to break off the little, or bend down the little. Of course, now it doesn't actually want to fold down. If it dropped, you would have got a bigger problem. Totally agree. Oh, that's why I was put wrong hole. There we go. I didn't put it in the one with the helicoil. I was like, it's not, there's nothing breaking off. Perfect. That was solid. Are you chuffed? I think this could be chuffed. I may actually be chuffed now. Oh, that was perfect. A plus. A for effort. I'm just ready to just helicoil a bunch of stuff now. Okay. And get that done. Last one. I feel pretty good about that third member at this point. I have little to no concerns. I used to be a helicoil pro back in my War Machine building days. Had to be our own machinist 90% of the time. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. We a lot of we build fixtures for the shop, and we'll build them for helicoils like at the outset, just to be able to have like steel threads inside of the aluminum fixtures that we use a lot of times. So I've installed a lot of helicoils. Not always in the situation. The worst time to install helicoils is when you have to install it. Like, it's like, uh-oh. Well, let's see if we can helicoil. Wait, so is the SuperScale 2020 scale done? No, it is not done. But there is some things that are going to require some further investigation slash tuning. And it was twerking on the bench for us earlier, which was an issue. Come on. Done. We should put some thread lock on that guy. I use most of my helicoils on RC foil drive axles. Ooh, that is sketchy and terrifying. Just because even drilling those axles and like hoping that the helicoil will be able to find something to bite onto, finding some consistent metal. Okay, good there. Oops. All right. It's so the panhard mount on the axle right there. That one is usually just a tapped hole. And like I said, I had to put a nut on the backside of that one too because of how bad Josh is blowing up with Camaro twerking memes. Yeah, it was quite funny. It was plugged in and it just freaking out here on the bench. Like, oh man. Oh, this is the Flex Seal axle. Yeah. Yes, it is. I wouldn't normally be helicoiling a VP axle. I've never had to do that before. But this truck was a first for a lot of things. Don't forget the bearing. Okay, that. A little bit more. Ford can't make a proper spark plugs. The trying to. I've never had to helicoil a spark plug hole. That sounds extreme. I mean, that sounds like having to remove the. That's a head removal deal. Or I guess you could try and vacuum cleaner out the chips. Sounds like a poor idea. This is a RC history in the making, people. Doing it on the car is no picnic either. Whew, that sounds terrifying. Now we do spark plug hole repairs pretty often. Special tools and patience. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I get it. You got to do what you got to do because that would be a nightmare to have to tear the engine apart to do that. But still, sounds awful. Okay, so let's make sure that I've got the correct helicoils. See, I've got one of the stragglers in this bag. After seeing them side by side, I ordered two completely different sizes. Both M3, but the larger one is much more aggressive. I like the smaller one better. So, get all that. Drill bit, and I need that tap over there. I need to get a little holder for this stuff. Josh, feeling nervous about cutting my hood on my electrical drive Blazer since I pinched the fenders on it considerably. Yeah, gonna have to cut it likely. But, I mean, I've watched those guys cut and put that stuff back together so many times. Like, I mean, I can't say I'd do a good job, but you could definitely do it. I mean, you could cut it up and get it back together. So don't worry too much. Josh, plus you get a warranty from Ford on their damaged head plug removal. It's good for 10,000 miles. Ooh, doesn't seem like enough. Special tools are total. Other people are aware. Right to repair and its importance currently. Yeah, but there's right to repair is different than, sometimes you need special tools for certain things. Like, can't necessarily everything can't always just be done with normal tools. Especially if you do want some advancement in things. But I get the right to repair thing. Okay, so let's get this thing bolted back together. Let's just start by putting the helicoil one in first. Better use thread lock. Maybe I shouldn't use thread lock because it could pull the helicoil out, but at the same time, I really hope to not have to remove this again. Sure, thread's in there, nice. Threads the whole way? No way. I feel like that's too long of a screw. Pretty sure it was. Take two. Oh, come on. I think I keep grabbing 18s rather than 14s or 16s. There we go. What is this trash? This isn't Warhammer 40. What does that mean? What are you talking about, Mike J? And there we go. Finally. Telling you though, I just wanted to put a screw in that helicoil so many times. It's threading in so nicely. So the after this truck is put back together this time, I don't expect to have to remove much on this thing for the duration of the time that I use it. Unless I was trying to do some sort of water sealing maintenance. I put stainless bearings throughout the axle, so I don't feel like I should have to. Viking funeral, make a small boat and use the outboard motors, then shoot fire at it. You know how much the outboard motors cost me? I need to get them back. I'm gonna have to put them on a return string. The Viking funeral does sound pretty like an actual reasonable solution to this vehicle. That's too long too. Where did I keep getting all these long ass screws from? Oh, probably because I had them in some of those. Oh, I know why. I was out of 16s when I was reassembling this and I used 18s. But I knew I had to take it apart again, so I was okay with my own hackery at the time. But I refilled my actual toolbox at the time. What motors did you get? I don't know. They seem like they're available from 10 different names for all the same thing. They're a brushless outrunner motor that were, yeah, I don't know. So, Josh, will Vanquish produce AR60 with axles again? I mean, the V2s are still in production, but as far as like Curries go, no. Nope. It needs a boat hull grafted to it. Swamp, like the airboats? Just the tires sticking through? I'm really wondering how much flotation I'm going to have to add outside of the body. That's my biggest concern. So I would really like to not have to add huge floats to it. I cannot hold on to anything today. I mean, it probably doesn't help that I'm working in my lap rather than on my workbench. I don't know why I do that all the time. Like, I feel like it's more efficient at a moment, and I continue doing it even though it's definitely not. There we go. Okay. So we got shock number 1 over here. chop a pool noodle and zip tie the shit up. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm more worried about the look. I know I can make it float. I want it to still look good. And that seems to be very hard when you add a bunch of flotation. Nicole's yelling at Chief for something. Must be being a little shit. Okay. All right. Now we got two links left. And the wheels and tires. Oh, I think sounds like he's on top of cupboards. Because Nicole can't get to him. Can you guys hear that? She's just yelling. I guarantee she's chasing him, trying to get him off of the top of the cabinets. Need to buy those inflatable RC tires, pump them up real good at flotation. Not a chance. These crawlers still sealed. Those are the only tires that I really want to install on this car. Right. I think you use your fancy router to cut some foam to fit in and around the axle should be gold. So I wonder if that. My hope is that I can basically fill the inner cavity of this vehicle. Like my idea would be to put down some like cling wrap of some sort, form it around things as I have to, and basically fill the body with foam to kind of go on top of here. And then I'll kind of make a little bit more room around items, but basically making the entire body as foam filled as possible. And then I just know that that body sits up here, so it'd have to float pretty low before it was really going to stay buoyant, which I think might put it like roof level, or I mean hood level, which is not ideal. So I feel like I'm probably going to need some extra flotation since the tires will add some, but not a ton. But yeah, like seaplane floats, that type of thing. I think that is the route that will inevitably have to be done to be able to have it float at some sort of reasonable level. Now she's feeling it silky. She's just having a hell of a time out there today. You don't like their idea of making small rock slider floats? I just don't think that they're going to be very small. By the time that it's done, to create enough buoyancy, I feel like I'm going to need some pretty large floats. Which is what it is. Whatever we got to get, whatever it takes, we're going to have to do. Crazy cat lady. Yeah, right. Hi, Josh. Just connected on the Frankenstein wish. Good work on that. I don't. From Flex Seal VS410 to Right Stuff VS410. Is Right Stuff, is that the expanding foam? Lake Trike tires and Lake Trike? What is that? All right. Flex seal some screen on it. Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, it seems like it needs a screen door on it somewhere. Maybe we replace the doors with some screen doors. Boom. All right. Now, I'm not saying that's the only stripped hole that remains on this, but exactly. Will the Ripper 2 come float ready? Brian, you're so fired. Fired. We got to put it back up on the shelf. So, all right, 12:01. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. I've got Traxxas Bronco stuff to shoot here. And then, hopefully, I still end up with time to go drive it, because beyond that, my time will be limited. Matt just checking in right as I'm signing off. He knew it. He knew it. So, appreciate you guys for saying hello. Again, have a good Sunday, and we'll see you later this week. Hit the like button before you leave. Yes, agreed. Thanks, guys. Later.